so we can network and speak to people. Don't rush. And what is are things being clarified to us now? So the rest of the session will bring more clarity. And you know, she kept on saying there are things I've not even said. So if I were you, I will. I'm looking for the Nigerian English. I will corner her and say, so what are those things that you've not said? So there's someone also coming to speak specifically about CVs and how to put those things together, so which will be very, very informative. So, but the next session, what prompted me to have the next session is we had a conversation with her at the High Street in one of the shops, and some of the things, because the next session is not about employment. This is about owning business. You see, because this is a Christian church that put this together. And if you look at the scriptures very well, you've got to be entrepreneurial. You've got to be. If you're going to determine and dictate. So we've been around for a while, and the people that I know that are really boxed up, those who are at the top of their career, good career, good career, or business. So if you're looking for 9 to 5 for too long, you've got to work your way up to the top. You see? So she was mentioning those things, and I saw the gaps. I saw those things. I saw it. Because my wife was doing 9 to 5 before with some people, and then now she's on her own. In fact, she was supposed to be one of the speakers because of the time. And the difference is clear. You see, the difference is clear. So she's one of us. She comes to this church, Sister Rose. So please, she'll be speaking to us. Listen very well and take notes. You will be blessed. You will just open your heart, because some of the information you even hear today, you may not even use it today, but keep it. You see, Mark chapter 4. Sorry, I'm quoting scripture. Sorry, but that's. He said, the seed bring forth of herself first the blade, and then the hair, and then the full corn and the hair. So you see the process. So just keep it. Some of the things we're doing now, we had the seed inside many years ago. So she'll be saying some things to you. Just, even if you think, oh, how is it going to be possible? How shall this thing be? Don't worry, it will be. Just, so, over to you. You'll be fine, don't worry. You'll be fine.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rosalind. I attend this church. I work with the social services, the adult social services. My degrees are not in social services. I have a first and a second degree in business. But one way or the other, I found myself in that area. Sorry, I'm the type that move around a lot. So I found myself in social services, and after a while, I said to myself, this is one area where I would like to stay. And considering the fact that we live in an environment, in a society where the government looks after its people, if you have to compare this society to where I came from, I'm not going to say where I came from. This is a society where people are looked after. This is a society where people are taken care of. From cradle to the grave, everyone is looked after, depending on what their care needs are. Okay, so when I met with my pastor, we talked about it, and then he said, okay, now bring that business aspect into social services. What gaps have you identified? What are the things you think we might do? We might key into in this area that will be of benefit to those of us who are looking into maybe starting up something or being on their own, and like you said, are tired of the normal 9 to 5. I'm not very good with small screens, so I'll be, yeah. So let's go into, yes. So health and social care. There's health and then there's social, okay? So it's called health and social care because they are so interwoven, okay? And that's why I've put that, the bridge, where health and social care where they've sort of come together, where that marriage, in a way, has taken place. So we're looking at healthcare. Okay, so the way it's done in the social services, particularly adult social services where I work, the way it's done, the way it's structured is this. Now, somebody in the line of my work, I meet people every day. You'll be surprised kind of people I meet. We assess them. There's what is known as the Care Act 2014, which is assessing people of their care needs. You look at what they can do for themselves. You look at the strength-based approach. That's the approach we use in social services. And then we look at how that assessment is going to benefit them as individuals. So healthcare in the sense is this. You meet somebody, that person has a diagnosis, a disability, an illness. It could be something they were born with. It could be something they acquired. Say, for instance, an accident, an acquired brain injury, a physical, disability, a learning disability, or an illness. Say, for instance, dementia, cancer, something that has crippled them in a way, and they're no longer able to be as independent as you and I. Okay, so we meet them, we assess them. Now, that is healthcare. Healthcare identifies those areas, those disabilities, those things that are affecting them, making it difficult for them to function as you and I. And then where does social care come in? Social care looks at those needs, and then we assess them. Okay, how are you finding it difficult to meet those things, to do those things that you and I take for granted? Say, for instance, you get up in the morning. You're going to have a shower. You make the decision today, I'm going to get up, I'm going to have a shower, I'm going to dress this way, I'm going to wear this, I'm going to have this for breakfast, I'm going to jump out of my bed. Those are decisions that you and I take every day. We do normally, but some people can't. So that is where social care comes in. We meet such people, we go to their home, sometimes in a week, 10, 12 visits. Because there are some that can't just leave their houses. Okay, so there is the gap, there is the need for those people to be looking after in this country, and it's vast. I'm just saying illness, injury, disability, it is vast. We're looking at different kinds of mental health issues, difficulties people are struggling with. Because of that, they just can't leave their homes. Some can't even lift their duvets, they don't want to come out, but they have to eat, they have to wash. Their needs have to be met, otherwise they lose what is known as their dignity, their dignity, because here, we are all humans, and the government sees everyone, no matter what that's why they say some disabilities are not visible. You need that dignity. They make sure that whatever it is that you claim is wrong with you, we should be able to put something in place to look after you, to help you achieve some measure of independence. So that is the essence of social care. So that's the bridge. So this is why social workers, social work practitioners. So when I say social work practitioners, somebody like me, because my degree is not in social work, my degree is in business, but I practice social work. So social work practitioners, integrated practitioners. When I say integrated, the first speaker mentioned a multidisciplinary team. You have doctors, nurses, clinical work assistants, social healthcare assistants, carers, they are all together. We all work together one way or the other to meet this healthcare needs. Okay, so we have doctors, we have people with mental health, they're social workers, but they're also trained as mental health practitioners. They assess. Okay, those are those who assess at mental health hospitals, prisons, So we all healthcare assistants, carers, clinical assistants, skilled practitioners. We all come together. The hospitals, the care homes, the mental health institutions, even in the community, therapists, talking therapists, speech and language therapists, we all come together. So it's called integrated. Everybody comes together one way or the other to assist that one individual to maintain a level of independence. Okay, so we bridge this gap between identifying this need and helping that person to maintain some level of independence. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so I'm just going to run through this very quickly. So in this country, this is the department that supervises, oversees the practice of health and social care. Okay, this is just for information. The list, like I said, the list is exhaustive, but I've only added this. I'm sure some of you would have read Care Quality Commission. If you're going to be establishing a business in the health and social care industry in this country, you can't do without these people. They're your number one. Whatever they say, you just have to, otherwise you're not ready to start. They're very important. Sometimes, in fact, when a care home, for instance, gets a letter from CQC. Oh boy. You have to buckle your belt. Whatever, from your door to the lavatory, the wash facilities has to meet every specification on their list. Otherwise, they shut down. They get a warning, but eventually, you know what it's like. They shut down. So you can't do without these people. If you're starting a business in health and social care in this country, you can't do without them. And then the NHS Digital. We all know about NHS Digital. These are the ones that, I remember the COVID-19 time, they were the ones that did the track and trace. They monitor statistics, who's getting what, diseases are coming to this country, how many people have contracted this disease, how many are in hospital. They are the ones who do the statistics. And then this Health Education England are the ones who are responsible, who set the structure for training. You're starting a care home, you're starting a domiciliary care business. Your carers must be trained. They must meet the specifications of these people. Because if you get a letter from them anytime, they could visit your care home anytime, they could visit your domiciliary care office anytime. Okay, they can ask for a list of your clients, and they want to know your carers. Are they qualified? Are they providing the support that your clients need? Your service users, are they providing the support? Okay, NHS England, we all know what NHS England is. That's the general umbrella. And then it's the Clinical Commissioning Group, or the CQC. Now, for those who might be looking at starting a care home, you're going to be getting a variety of clients, especially elderly clients with dementia or end of life. You're going to be providing palliative care. Some of them have such complex needs. They're unable to manage their toileting. Some of them are double incontinent. They need nursing care, night nursing care. They need 24-hour, round-the-clock care. Some you can't turn on the bed. You need carers to turn them. You need carers to move them. You need manual handling procedures, structures in place. So these guys, sometimes such needs are so massive that the social services can't pay for the care. They just can't pay. So CCG, we call them CHC or CCG, okay, they are the ones that pay. So we transfer. Once they've gone, we do something like that is known as a fast-track assessment. The GPs usually do that. And then these guys take over the care, because sometimes it gets, there's what is known as double-handed care, where carers go in and two people support somebody each time because they just can't move. You need somebody to move. They're hoisted, they're moved, So these are the guys that do that. So there's quite an other list, but these are the main ones that you need to consider if you're looking at starting a business in the health and social care. If you're going into, you want to become an entrepreneur in this sector, in this country. Can you go to the next slide, please? Now, I've identified a few. I'm sure we have all heard supported living, supported accommodation, or shared housing. With this one, supported accommodation is where you as an entrepreneur, you're able to buy a house, or you're able to get a mortgage. You have a house, say for instance, what is known as home of multiple occupation. You decide what kind of housing supported accommodation you're going to be providing. Is it for people with learning disability, for people with mild to severe learning disability? Because you have to be very, very specific. Because in health and social care, if you don't have that skill set to manage that person's exact healthcare need, you might not be supporting them as you should. Okay, so you're looking at supported accommodation. This is provided alongside support or supervision. When I say support, it ranges from washing, dressing, assisting with toileting, assisting with meals, assisting with medication, assisting with supporting to the community. Some people are so anxious they can't leave their houses. They need somebody to help them from their homes to the store, to the supermarket. And what are we trying to do? To help them, one, achieve independence if they've lost it at some point, or two, maintain that level of independence they have, no matter how little, because that is what keeps their personal dignity. That is what makes them who they are. They don't want to lose it, because once they lose that independence and they feel they're completely reliant on a carer or a support worker, then we start having severe issues like, oh, I don't want to continue, now I'm going to give up. That is where you start having things like suicidal ideation and all that. So for supported accommodation, you have a house, okay, where you decide, okay, this house I'm going to support people with learning disability of a certain age, okay? It could be from 16 to 17. And you could decide that, okay, my supported accommodation is for those who are at the risk of homelessness or those who are fleeing domestic abuse. Okay, so you need to specify which area, which gap, and which people, with these people with specific needs you're going to be supporting. There's one down the road there, a supported living meant for ex-offenders. Those who are, they are being rehabilitated back into the community, but they are not living among us, so to say, but there's a place where they stay, and then people going to support them, offer counseling, offer therapy, and all that. So with supported living, there must be somebody known as a registered service manager there, Information on how to be a registered service manager, or to get somebody who will be a registered service manager in your supported accommodation is here. I've added all the links, and if my pastor allows, you can request for the slides so you can really go through, because I'm just running through them. I don't want to into the time. Okay, so everything you need are there. The links are there for you to do further research. Okay, but you have supported housing or supported accommodation. The next slide, please. And then there's care home. I'm sure the very popular ones are the care homes and the domiciliary care. Okay, I'm going to talk about those, but let's just run quickly through this community-based counseling therapy services. Now, this one is usually for people who suffer what I would call substance abuse, substance misuse. They're neither here nor there, but they need somebody to talk to all the time. They need somebody to advise them. They need somebody to help them through recovery. We have, there's one known as Turning Point. I'm not sure. I think they've changed their name now. There's another one known as Open Road. They assist with people who are struggling with substance misuse. It could be alcohol, it could be drugs. And if you are a trained therapist, or you have the resources to, or you have it in your heart, it could be a calling, to be honest. You have it in your heart to support somebody, people in this field with this kind of need. You could set up a counseling clinic, okay, and employ therapists to come, and you get referrals from your local authority, because setting up all these things, you need to work closely with your local authority. If you're looking at Medway, if you're considering working in Kent or Medway, you're looking at KCC, which is Kent County Council, or you're looking at Medway Council. You can't work in health and social care outside of your local authority, because a lot of your referrals are coming from there anyway. A lot of your care packages, a lot of your clients are coming from there. Unless you're going to be looking at self-funders, but then you might not even know how many, even self-funders tend to go through social services to get support, and then we say, okay, because you're self-funding, well, this is what you do. We signpost you to this place and that, but we should already know you. So we signpost as self-funders to you. So there's no way you would run this business in your authority without working with your local authority. Okay, so we shared life scheme. I added these bits, but I'm not very certain about the BAME community. And the reason is this. Shared lives is very good, okay? It's for individuals who, they live, not live alone, but they, you can allow somebody to come stay with you. If you know you can manage that person's need, you will be trained on how to manage that need, and you'll be paid for looking after that person. It's like fostering, but it's for adults, not for children, not for babies, Or you say, for instance, somebody who is trained in mental health, and then you know how to handle, cases, or somebody who has that kind of disability, or who has mental health difficulties. You can register with your local authority. They will train you on how to look after that person, and you'll be paid. And to be honest with you, they pay well. So that's shell. They do. No, honestly. Yes. See, in social care, it's all about the need and the complexity of those needs. You go through a trial process. It's not that, I'm not going to say it's that nothing is easy. Whatever you're going to do, you put in some effort, you do some training, nothing is easy, By the end of the day, if you are an established shared lives person, you're never going to run out of business, to be honest. Because this is a society where there are needs, and the government is so determined to make sure everyone's needs are met. It's just the way it is. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, I put in so much about this because this is one that is most prevalent in this society, domiciliary care, the one we know as home care. And I'm sure for those who have been who have been in care business, you must have done some kind of domiciliary care where you go to people to support them. Okay, so if you're going to be starting a home care services business, this is what you need to do. Okay, The home care is this. Somebody like me, I've gone out to assess a client, to complete a care health assessment, and I've identified their needs. They've got dementia, now they're unable to manage. They've forgotten how to brush their teeth, they don't know how to turn on the tap, you can't leave them at home by themselves because they turn on the gas and they wonder how the dog, they are a risk to themselves. They are a risk to people around them as well. So I've gone to assess and I realized, okay, look, this person, because there's what is known as the least restrictive option in social services. You tend to keep somebody in their houses and provide support because people are more comfortable in their own homes, okay? And so I've gone to assess and I've decided, okay, this person needs a care package. We need somebody or people to go home and support them with washing, with dressing, with personal care. Personal care comprises of washing their hair, brushing their teeth, applying cream to their body, making sure their skin integrity is intact, nobody has pressure sores anywhere, those kind of things. So you as a domiciliary care owner, we would give you that business, okay? You would, the entire process is here. It's called the tendering process. It's quite long, so you might want to collect the slide at the end of the day and read through it. You work with our Medway Council, and then if you are established, you go through all the process, and then you're selected. What we do is, once we've completed the assessment, and we've decided that this person is a care package, Medway, well, I'm not saying Medway, your local authority would contact you and decide, okay, let me use your name, Margaret Care Services. We want to give you this care package. And the essence is this. You would now get carers to go to the house of that woman, Mrs. B, to assist her, maybe 2 times, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, once in the evening, and once at night. And depending on how complex her needs are, it could be double-handed, which means 2 people going each time. And what do we do? Support her with washing, dressing, toileting, because she might not even know how to go to the toilet. Some don't even know how to walk. They've forgotten by the nature of their illness. Remember, we established at the start that it is because of something that we've identified, a healthcare need, which it could be mental, it could be physical disability, something that has prevented them from doing things that you and I do every day. So this is the entire process. It's something I would probably like you to read, because this tendering process is not specific to Medway, it's to your local authority, and it might differ a little depending on which local authority you're working with. Okay, so you have evidence of financial viability for the organization, evidence of registration with CQC, evidence of relevant experience in the provision of similar service. Maybe you've worked as a carer in the past. Okay, evidence of previous business, directors, everything, experience of suitably qualified and trained staff, your staff strength, certificate of incorporation, because it is a business, is it not? So your business must be registered. Your health and safety information, you know what it's like in this country. Health and safety is very important. Your company financial information, business, these are the things you need to consider if you're starting a care home service. A home care service here. So with domiciliary care, the other one is nursing or residential. This is quite easy to start. You don't need a big house for this. You could start in your small space. Just need an office, a desk space, somewhere where you can do your administrative work. Your carers can work mobile. You have apps that you can use to monitor your carers as they come and go. You don't need a big space where everybody comes to sit down. But for a care home, please can you move to the next slide? But for a care home, that is capital intensive. You need a massive house. For those who have worked in care homes, we have some around here. You know what it's like to set up a place like that. So that is quite capital intensive. But the one that I think is much easier to start is this domiciliary one. Okay, is the domiciliary care. So starting your business. Starting a business in the health and social care is not different from starting a business in any industry. It's the same thing. There are specifics because of the nature of the industry you're in. But in every business you need to start, you need to consider your finances. You need to do your business plan. You need to know who your target audience, who you're going to be supporting. Are you looking at the elderly? Are you looking at people with dementia? Are you looking at palliative care? Are you looking at people with mental health? What kind of mental health? Are you looking at generic mental health? Are you looking at specific mental health, schizophrenia, psychosis? Are you looking at drug-induced psychosis, people who are into drugs? You need to be very specific because needs are very, very different. You need to specify which area you want to be supporting. Is it learning disability? Are you looking at autism? Are you looking at the entire autism spectrum? Are you looking at Asperger's? You know what I mean? You need to be sure which area you're going to be supporting, which area of the business, which aspect of the health and social care industry you're going to be, you're going to be investing in. So starting your business, there are different ways. There's franchising. Okay, say for instance, which care home would I use now? Okay, let's use Sister Margaret's care home again. Ours is a very big one, and then I'm looking at starting a business. So what I can do, franchising, I'll go to her and I'll pay her a certain amount of money, and then I would just like McDonald's, yes, I would borrow a name, a logo, a brand, because she's already known in the industry. People already trust her, they know who she is. So I'll borrow her brand, her name, her everything, and then start my business. So when you come to my care home, you just assume that the kind of service you get from me is the kind of service you get from her. So that's franchising, you understand? It means a business owner licensing his operations along with his products, branding, and knowledge in exchange for a franchise fee. Okay, they are quite popular for entrepreneurs because it saves them these startup problems. It just saves them all that stress. They're already starting all those teething problems that the previous organization had. They sort of escape it. They build on it. And the partnership, 2 or more people coming together to decide, okay, this is what we want to do. Say, for instance, domiciliary care is quite. You have a lot of partnership in that area. Sole proprietorship, self-employed, these are like therapists, like people who provide mental health counseling in the community, individuals, and then there's this other thing that we do sorry, I'm running out of time. There's what is known as the referee service, where I am there's a client, maybe they're self-funding, they have money above, there's what is known as a threshold. In the social services, you have a threshold. If you have more than 23,250, the government sees you as being able to pay for your care. They are not going to support you. You're a self-funder. But if you have below that, then you'll be financially assessed to pay a certain amount, and the local authority will support you. It's known as a contribution. So if, for instance, I have a client who has above the threshold, and they need to put, maybe they have a family member, and their elderly grandmother wants to go into a care home, the social services will only signpost. But somebody like me knows that Sister Margaret has a care home that can provide a service, so I will do a referral. So I'm like the middle person. So those are the kind of things that sole proprietorship or self-employed can do. You can make a referral, and then you refer self-funders to where they can get the services, because the social services are not going to do that. They can only signpost and that's it, except if the person insists that, look, I want this service through the social services, but of course, because I'm a self-funder, I will pay for it. By the end of the day, it's mainly and mostly through referrals, which individuals can do, just like we have middlemen, do business. There's this purchasing an existing business. There are businesses that have been established, but maybe the person is considering moving into a different field, and you have the means. It's almost like franchising, but this time around you own the business. You're not licensing someone's name or brand. You own the business. You purchase it outright, and you carry on from where the person stopped, or you even purchase a business and you change the existing structure. Okay, maybe the person, maybe it used to be supported accommodation. Now you want to turn into domiciliary care. You purchase an existing business that already has some kind of name and is established in the industry. You purchase that business, you create a new brand, and you run it. The advantages of these ones is that it saves you that stress of actually starting from the very scratch. Somebody has done the homework for you. Somebody has gone through the problems. It's not like you're not going to have challenges. It's in the nature of businesses. The challenges will come, but the thing is that initial one that makes you want to panic or give up, somebody has already done that groundwork for you. You just sort of build up from there. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so these are the steps. Like I said before, these are not they are not specific to health and social care. This is for all businesses. You do your research, you determine your audience, who do you want to serve? The disabled, the elderly. You determine your mission, the service users, whom you target. People that you've identified as those whose needs you're going to meet are the ones that will help you continue to continually refine your mission. You need to understand and comply with the legal structures. With health and social care, some of them can be very, very strict, because your people's lives are practically in your hands, you know. So yeah, money is very important. Your capital, your finances. How do you intend to finance your venture? Family or friends? Do you have savings? Are you considering bank loans? Are you going to look at government grants? Tax also, you need to research the tax structures, you know, of the UK if you're considering starting here. You need to understand the risk also in the business. You'll be supporting very vulnerable people, you know. Sometimes accidents happen. We've seen cases where care homes and domiciliary care are shut down because of accidents, you know, and they were not properly, you know, legally protected in a way. And then, you know, you have your business plan, which is your manual. That's where you have your analysis, your strengths, your SWOT analysis, your hands-off matrix. What's your strengths, your weaknesses? Are you going to compete favorably with all other players in the industry or in the market you're looking at? You know, targets, talk with somebody or someone who has done what you've done before and see how they've succeeded at it. Borrow some tips. You just don't know. You might learn something. And then set a time to start. Can we go to the next slide, please? And then there's what is known as this certificate of sponsorship. The thing is, you start this business here, you might want to consider employing from abroad. You want to consider, you know, bringing people from home. You need this certificate, otherwise you can't employ from home. It's quite detailed on how to get a certificate of sponsorship. It's quite lengthy, so I didn't include all that, but I've added links on how you can go to .gov.uk, just look at it, the type of certificates you need, the kind of employer, the kind of employer you want. Is it temporary? You know, are they skilled? They are there. If you go to follow this link, how you can apply for COS, it's on this link. So I've just sort of run through them, but you can request for the slide at the end of the day and follow on those, do further research and read up on them. They are quite, it's quite a lot, you know, but this is just to let you know that even in the health and social care industry, there are gaps, there are things we can do. You know, there are ways you can invest and make money, you know, because the needs are there. For as long as there are people with needs, you always have a market. You always have people that you need that would be requiring your support. Thank you very much. Any questions? Next slide. I hope not. Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you, Mo, for this wonderful presentation. My name is Shola. My question is, we just a point down to clarify, and thank you for opening our eyes to the business opportunities and what a number of us are actually doing in the UK. I will not shy away from that. But my main question is, must you still be a British citizen or have ILR or married to a British citizen before you can establish this set of business? Now, I've just spent probably 7 months, just like what the pastor said, that we should keep some things that are minds and might be for future purpose. Fine, we know that. But I'm going to start counting like when I'm 5 years old in the UK, before I'm 5 years in the UK before I will start, or I must get a partnership that will be that have a British paper on my board for me to float or start a business like this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The thing is, there's no yes or no answer to that question, and I'm going to explain, okay? You do not necessarily have to be a British citizen to start a business at all, okay? You can start like the sole proprietorship, like those ones that you can do on a one-to-one basis, okay? But the risk in that is this. You need some level of British recognized qualifications to be able to relate with some people, especially if you're looking at mental health. Okay? You need that, you need to be registered, you need to have those qualifications, they need to say it. You understand? You need to be recognized there, they need to know that bit that they have described as what they require, their requirements, you need to have them. And unless you have ILR, a British citizen, you might not be able to get them. You might not have access to them. And even starting that business, I mentioned government grants. If you don't have that, you might not be able to access those supports you would readily have. you might not be able to access them. But you can now, partnership, you can work with somebody who has all this. You have the experience, you have the zeal, you have the passion, but then somebody has all the physical requirements, the citizenship, the ability to go to to go to the bank, good credit score, they are stable, they are trusted, so to say, in the community. They can do those other bits for you. If you are not a citizen, if you don't have that right to work or stay in the UK, and you starting something like this, say for instance, you're coming to Medway Council, nobody's going to listen to you. Yeah. No, because there are, already with CQC, they would have listed it. There's things you need to have. But that is not to say you can't start at all. You can start from the very scratch. But if you intend to make it your daily bread in a way, if you intend to make it something that would earn you an income, you need to have those things. Because it will also grant you access to other things in the community, even with the government, to help your business. There are loads and loads of government grants. If you don't have that, you can't access. But you can work in partnership with somebody who has everything based on trust, if you know what I mean. And then you can start from there until you get your own, and you're able to venture out on your own. But if you really, really want to be a competitive player in this field, you need to have. You need to have.
Any other question?
Thank you for that answer. So just as a follow-on to that question, I know some people coming from Africa, they have they've acquired the certificate of sponsorship to be able to work. So can an individual, I know that the work they can do is linked to the certificates they have to work, but can they, on the side, be setting up themselves to have that business? Do you see? Because technically they have the right to work, because I think that's the key thing. They have the right to work. So technically they can, all those things. But so can they be part of the business? I think definitely what you said about partnerships is very key. But can they be doing that process?
They can, but say for instance you are an employer and through the Home Office you got a certificate of sponsorship and you've been able to employ somebody from my country, say to say, and the person is here. That visa they have is specific. They can't go elsewhere. It's specific to your company because this certificate is not a paper thing. They are digital, they are numbers. It's specific, and if that person wants to go outside of your establishment, outside of that company that's brought them, they will have to do what is known as an upgrade. Yes, it's here. I saw it somewhere. It has to be. That certificate will have to be upgraded. They are not allowed. That is why employers who bring people from abroad are they jealously guard that, because you know that everybody wants to move. You've been here a year or two. You want to do your own thing. You understand? But that certificate is tied to the company. You really can't move unless you upgrade. And you must show evidence. There's evidence of your earning, your evidence of experience, evidence of expertise, evidence of another company that you're upgrading to. It's not like you're just living on your own. No, you're not. You're leaving that company, you're upgrading to a different company. And you must show evidence of that company having, ready to continue to sponsor you. Because before you can be on your own, I think it's about 5 years before you can be on your own, and you must show your earning. Your earning must gradually increase before it gets to that time. And you must also show that, okay, I've left the company I came with, I stayed 2 years, and I've moved to another company, and I've upgraded, and I've moved elsewhere. You must show that progress. If you're not able to show that progress, it's not going to work.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question. That shared skill.
Shared lives.
That's shared. So do I have to have my own house I can use where I'm renting? And
no, it doesn't matter.
From A to B where the first client comes in, how long does it take?
Shared lives. That's why it's called shared lives. The person lives with you. You become that person's adopted family.
So I can't send them away when I want to send them.
Oh, no, you can't. It's only when that person begins to exhibit challenging behavior. So you need to be very careful what shared life scheme you're going in, what you're able to manage. Because some shared lives has to do with physical disability, and you'll be provided with everything you need to support that person in terms of mobility, in terms of access, going in and out of the bathroom. They would come and restructure your place for you. If they need hoisting, it depends on the need you're meeting, okay? But if it's mental health, it's not physical. But if it's okay, you'll be offered therapy, counseling. But if that person begins to exhibit challenging behavior and you think you're at risk, or maybe other family members are at risk, then you can, because you have somebody you report to. You're not just doing shared lives with somebody that's, no, okay, we put that person there, we're going. No. They do a review. Every 6 months, every year, they review. How are you managing? Sometimes they ask us, go and review that person. We review the family. What impact is it having on members of the family? If you've got children, how are they coping or living with this person? It is when that person or that service user who has been placed in your house is starting to, exhibit challenging behavior and is starting to be a risk in a way. It will be reviewed and it can be, placed elsewhere, and then you get somebody else. It's not permanent, but you can't just kick them out when you're tired.
Any more questions? The last question.
Okay, I'll make this very quick. You talked about the training that maybe, what did you call them? The domiciliary
Domiciliary care, home care services.
They give to their care what?
Yeah, the carers.
Okay, so I have an elderly family member who's a recipient, so that's why I was able to follow along. And some of what we've seen, because there's an influx of people, but I noticed that some of those companies, they're not training their care workers adequately. So how, if I decide that based on what I've seen, I want to go into that niche of training, what are some of the things that I need to do to set myself up as a trainer of care, whatever it's called, to train them adequately? Because it's a major thing. So you see people that they've got the job, thank God, but they don't have adequate care, even adequate training. Even if they want to do it well, they cannot do it well because they don't even have the basic training. So they shadowed someone and they're doing what they've seen to do and they don't know what they're actually supposed to do.
Okay. So in terms of training, as a domiciliary or home care provider, it is your responsibility to train your staff. Okay, now what area are you looking at? Are you looking at supporting the elderly in their homes, or are you looking at supporting people with physical disability? You need to measure or gauge the complexity of needs you think your carers are able to do. Say, for instance, a service user who is double incontinent and who wears pads. You need somebody, and they can't move. They are on the bed, so they need to be turned. You need people who are able to assist with pad change, maybe at every care call. It's called a care call. In the morning, in the afternoon, tea time, dinner, or bedtime, okay? And you can pay for them, or you can ask them to pay towards their training, say in an institution like this, okay? I'm not sure of any independent training companies, but I know in places like this, they train carers, okay, on how to, on health and social care, on how, the physical aspects of health and social care, okay, and that's the only bit I know, because since I've been in that job, I've not heard of somebody who trains, who just get carers together, because that person themselves needs to know what the needs are that are going to be met and how best to manage those needs. So that's why some send them to, okay, voluntary service, say in the hospitals, go and work, voluntary roles in the hospitals, voluntary roles in care homes, voluntary roles in shared, where you have people with learning disability, shared accommodation, support accommodation, do voluntary roles, see how it's done, and then you come back and do it. Or better still, send them to a place like this, 6 weeks, 3 months, or you either pay or you ask them to pay towards it, because you are the company, you're the one who sends them out to meet their clients. So you have to make sure they have the adequate training. Yeah. It's your anointing for me.
Wasn't that wonderful? Brilliant, man. That was very good.